Pledge of Allegiance. You join us. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have also been sharing in our meetings this month, or excuse me, in our meetings this year, the vision statement and mission and the school district core values. And this month it is the core values. We believe all students have the ability to learn, are important, and have unique skills to contribute successfully to our world. We believe in a valued, highly qualified, team-oriented staff that cares for, supports, and teaches every student to their full potential every day. We believe that support and teamwork among our school district, families, and the community provide the most effective learning outcomes in and out of the classroom. And we believe in relevant, inclusive, and engaging curriculum that appropriately prepares students for their life endeavors. All right, and next agenda item was Students of the Month, but we were not able to have those in attendance today for other commitments. So we will start with the elementary recognition.
All right, so a few recognitions here. First of all, I want to thank our bus drivers for all their hard work. I know we asked them to do something we've never done before on our drop-off and our release. And it was a little rocky at first, but I think we have a really good system set up now, and it's going really well. I mean, we're getting parents through the lines, we're getting students into the school building, and we are doing as well time-wise as we've ever done. So it has really lined out better than I expected. So I'm pleasantly surprised, or pleased, not surprised, pleased, surprised a little bit, I guess. But it really comes from the work of the drivers' willingness change things up on a second notice, and they've done that. So I'm very excited. I want to thank them for that. We started our character trait program. This month is integrity. We've talked about this all last year as well. So basically, for the people that are here that maybe haven't heard this before, we pick a character trait every month, and then every morning I read something about that character trait and what it means to exhibit that character trait. And then the teachers look for students who are showing the character trait of integrity, for instance, and then they give them tickets that they can bring into the office, put in the bucket, and then every Friday we have a drawing. They win prizes. So it's kind of rewarding them for doing positive things. And I feel like that's important, and the kids love it. They absolutely love it. So we've only had one drawing right now. We have another one tomorrow. But Colton Marling and Sevilla Pace were the first two winners for the character trait of integrity. So we'll keep doing those. Obviously, I'll have a lot more next week. We've begun a new Readable English program, which is supposed to help with improved comprehension in reading with our students. So we've just gotten started. We're learning a lot about it. I wanted to thank Jessica Lauderdale for all her hard work. She's done a lot with us on setting things up for us. And so stepping out wasn't something that she was assigned to. She just kind of took it on herself and did that for us. And did really, really appreciate that. Grade level teachers and I have been meeting to align our curriculum maps and our standards to better suit our students and to get a better handle on how well we are doing and how we are improving as the year goes. We will be able to benchmark, and we will be able to recognize which students need more help, which students are excelling, and such, and they're doing a great job with that too. So want to recognize our teachers for doing that. Renovations in the elementary. I think all my teachers and students are pleasantly pleased with the new renovations. It's just a total update. Very nice cabinetry, new floors, new desks. They are extremely happy with that. If you haven't been in the elementary office, it's got a whole new look as well. So when you come in, you're no longer standing on top of the secretaries or each other. There's actually some room for the secretaries to work and for parents to come in and not be right up on top of one another. So it's very nice. Thank you guys for that and helping make that possible. We have a new teacher in 4th grade, Sarah Graber. I know at the last meeting you approved for me to hire a teacher, so I just wanted to let you know she's here, she's doing a good job, she's learning. She has a great team to work with, and they're taking her under their wing, and they're helping her out, get her off and running. So if you see Sarah, welcome her to our Cardinal family. We have a new wheelchair swing in our playground area now. So I want to thank the Greene County Foundation for their grant for that. It didn't pay for all of it, but it paid for over half of it. So without that, we probably wouldn't have that swing. And we have some students that are in wheelchairs. And so we took them out there and got them up in it and showed them how to use it. And not gonna lie, they liked it, but they were a little apprehensive at the same time. It's something different for them. So when we get the other playground up and running, we'll get another swing and put it over there. We still have some work to do. We got to get some pour-in-place, like rubber coating to put up under there so they can wheel up to it. I had to help them get onto the swing this last time. But I think it's a great thing. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. So I think they're going to really enjoy that once they get used to it. I really do. Joyful Noise is up and running. Mrs. Helms always does a great job with Joyful Noise, and the kids are excited to get started on that. So they're up and going. I want to, thank her for all her efforts there. Our CCLC program is going again now, after school program with the STEM and all the instruction that they're giving the students. Kids are enjoying it. I've seen in the halls and I'm going by the classrooms there in the afternoon, and they're engaged. And so Andy Wilson and her crew are doing a great job there as well. And then finally, preschool has started. After the first few days of lots of tears and separation anxiety, we've got the parents settled down, the kids helping out and kicking them out the door, and I think that's all going really well. So I laughed several times those first few days. You'd see the parents walk them up, and here they're coming back, just a crying, and the wives are patting their husbands on the back. It's okay, honey. So, but it's going well. Miss Edwards does a great job. Risa Woodruff is her assistant, and she's doing a wonderful job too. So I think we've got a really good program. I think it's just going to keep building. We may have to ask you for more space if it keeps building. So that's a good problem to have. So that's all I've got for tonight. I'll turn it over to Mr. Dean, but thank you guys for all your efforts. I appreciate it.
Okay, so really some of the things that Mike mentioned already, of course, we share. Start of school, I want to recognize the work of our custodians and all the efforts that they do. And really, as you start to get towards that start day, the last minute adjustments that you have to make and the amount of desks that you have to move and tables and so forth like that. So our custodians, our teachers getting ready. We did not have the renovations that the middle or the elementary had, but still getting that start. Students have come in with just an overall positive attitude. They've been excited to be back. The enthusiasm is there by both staff and students, it's made it fun. Everybody wants to be here. And our bus drivers, I want to thank them. Like Mike mentioned, we've got a new arrangement of how we're dropping off of the morning and how we're picking up of the evening. And so it's different for the big kids because now it's all coming on their side. So in the morning, it's pretty much like clockwork. They drop them off, they go over to Mike's side and take care of that. But then in the afternoon, it's everybody on this side. And, sent out a lot of notification to parents about how we wanted the students to be dropped off, picked up and everything. And really it has. It's going very smooth. Occasionally we have somebody that slips up. They're very apologetic when you stop them and taking care of that. But it's a whole team effort there at the end of school. And so I really appreciate everybody. And I'm talking about, staff, students, bus drivers, parents, and everything. Fall sports have kicked off. Both boys and girls soccer have had their matches and gotten in there. And boys soccer's 2-0 right now and doing well with that. Tennis won tonight. They took on WRV and took care of them tonight. And our boys and girls cross country teams and volleyball have all been. The volleyball team they're up north tonight. They've unfortunately had some matches that have been canceled from other schools. And so they took off for Park Heritage. If you're not familiar with Park Heritage, consolidation a couple years ago with Turkey Run in Rockville. So about an hour and 20 minutes up the road, and they left about 4:15. So they're definitely in the match, but it'll be a long night for them. Boys cross country won the Green County Invitational tonight, finished 1 through 4 and 6. Girls didn't have enough. They only had 4, so they couldn't place. But I think we finished 3rd, 6th, and maybe 9, 10, or 8, 9 in that time frame. So excited for the students to be able to participate in their fall sports program. Ms. Helms, Mike had mentioned Joyful Noise kicking up, which is the elementary group. The middle school group, Cardinal Song, and the high school group, Center Stage, they're having tryouts this coming week. So they'll be getting that going. They've had tryouts for the fall musical, play/musical, Freaky Friday. That's what it's going to be this year. So we're looking forward to that with Ms. Helms and all the kids being involved there. Yeah, I mentioned the student teacher enthusiasm. I also want to mention we have several new staff members on our side, and I've paired them up with mentor teachers in the building, and they have gotten off to a good start. Been able to touch base with them on multiple times, and everyone, they're excited about the job. A lot of stuff being thrown at them with dealing with the pandemic and everything so forth. Doing a fantastic job, and their mentor teachers are a huge help with them. Miss Bladen is right over there. We had picture day today. Had the middle school, high school sports pictures, senior picture. All right, so a big day. You know, we had pizza and cookies and chips for the seniors out in the park. And we had a new photographer this year, Sheldon Photography. And I don't know if you guys, but I got my picture taken like at 8 o'clock. At 8:12, my picture was in my email. And I could see what I looked like, and I did look okay. So,
How many
I
times
kept
did you
that.
go back and get her read?
Right? Yeah. Mr. Ridley does that a lot.
Your
So,
hair, right?
But that was a great day. Tomorrow is elementary, correct? And they'll be having that. Also this week, we had a lot of our first, last, and first. The freshman class ring had their ordering ring for Jostens. That's always a big deal for freshmen. And our seniors had their graduation ordering meeting. And so they'll be ordering that, and next Thursday they'll be picking those up and getting that stuff ordered. So I told the seniors, I said, this is, you know, some of those benchmarks that you tick off throughout the year. We had the NGROTC had their welcome aboard celebration or ceremony last night. They welcomed aboard 12 new cadets, and Lieutenant Commander Lemons and Chief Holberg did a great job. The kids returning are good, solid leaders, you know, from seniors, juniors, sophomores. I'm really excited about the new class of cadets coming in. Pointed out last night, I've always known this, that Bloomfield is the smallest unit in the United States. Commander Lemons went further in saying that we're the smallest unit in the world because there are lots of units in Spain and in Italy and so forth. So we are the smallest unit, period, to be able to do that. We've been going a standalone for over 25 years, and that's a great thing. That's just another group that students that have a connection and a part to be, you know, being involved. And it's a great thing, and really appreciate all the work that Gunnar and Chief do. I want to recognize our physics class, right? So you're thinking, why physics? Well, because physics this year is taking on a different look. And I want to reach and thank Linton Stockton High School. I reached out to Alicia Cornelius, the principal of Linton, and asked, we were actually talking, kind of seeing if we could do Spanish from us for them and in turn physics for them. So it didn't work for us to share our Spanish teacher, but it worked out that they're sharing their physics teacher with us every day. And I really appreciate Alicia. She had just a minor adjustment on the schedule that was able to move and free a period for her teacher for when our kids meet. So our kids are distance learning through Google Meets and Google Classroom with Miss Holly Kirk, who's the physics teacher. And she does a great job. We have 8 students enrolled in physics. You know, we've gotten through some of the bunks and bugs and kinks and so forth like that when you start dealing with, you know, different platforms from 2 different schools. But, you know, number one, we appreciate the collaboration with Linton and what they were able to do for us and our students. Number 2, they're going to receive dual credit through Ivy Tech because Ms. Kirk is credentialed. And so that's an added bonus that we didn't have before. So I wanted to just give a shout out to our physics students, number one, and Lynn Stockton and Miss Holly Kirk for being generous and collaborative working with us. That's, I don't know, I don't know. I know we've not done anything like that with any area schools. So when you get in a time like this, when statewide there's a shortage of teachers, that's a solution right there with that. So something that we'll definitely, if we're ever asked again or we can help out, we'll definitely be doing that. This year is our first full year of middle school. Physically, the 6th grade had moved up last year, but we are an official middle school with our own corporation or school number for the district. And in the new tech model, which is what the middle school has adopted, and project-based learning, kind of along the lines of what Mr. Riggleman and the elementary do as far as character traits, we have agency traits, which is part of new tech. And this month is communication. And so number one, we bought a t-shirt for every middle school student and celebrating the start of the school year and celebrating new tech. And then we got them all together and talked to them about how we're going to do this by month. And like I said, this month is communication. And so teachers are recognizing students in their classes when they're, able and willing and just communicating with each other in projects and just handling themselves. And then we'll celebrate those monthly. And then at the end of each semester, we'll do that. Mike also mentioned Readable English. We are doing that in grades 6, 7, and 8. And we'll have a presentation after we get going with that, but I'll give you just a little snippet. Readable English is, I'm not a language arts person. Sorry, it may not be surprising to people. All right. My wife is for sure. But they teach glyphs, these symbols that go above the letters, and it's with phonics in that. And the kids learn to read phonically and how they go through that. And it's a process through about the first 5 or 6 weeks of school, teaching all those glyphs. There are 26 glyphs that go with these letters. And the data that has been, this is really growing. And we were fortunate enough to be a part of a grant for this. We're combined, I think Eastern Green is involved in it. And I want to say, I thought Mitchell may be involved in part of this. Sophie Haywood was the part of the person that wrote the grant. And she used to be part of the P to 16. I don't think she is involved. Either way, we're part of that grant to get the funding to start this. We have a coach that comes in weekly, every other week, that works with our teachers on this. And I'm really excited to see, because yes, reading, but it's focusing on reading comprehension. And looking forward to seeing at the end of the year the results that we have for that. So we'll have a presentation on that at a later time to go in more detail, certainly with the teachers. We're doing, in the middle and high school, we're conducting a curriculum audit this year, and we're getting that rolling. And that is going to be part of our Friday collaboration time and other meetings throughout the year as we work on our curriculum maps and moving forward there. As you can tell, when you walk in, now there's a big fence here. We've got the building project. Like I said, not a lot of renovations on our end. The new building, they're out here compacting soil for the new multi-purpose gym to be put up there. And then right off behind the board here will be the new administrative offices. So what you see right back here, where all those books are, that will be a hallway when it's all said and done. That'll be the new foyer and entryway. So we're excited about that. I think sometime 2023, looking at finishing there. And then finally, again, Mike talked about the CCLC program, or after-school program. We do have a middle school and high school. I want to give a shout out to Lindsay Steelman. She is our instructor for the after-school program and doing a great job. Middle school, definitely. They're excited about everything, right? High school, you kind of get it, but she's doing her best to get those guys involved and excited. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. And our next agenda item is the public hearing on the budget.
Yeah, so that budget's in your packet and provided on our website. The budget, the CPF plan, bus replacement plan have to be advertised on Gateway, which is the state online program. So it's required to be on that public access, and it's also required to be on our website. So we have that on our website per statute before this public hearing. So just asking if anybody has any questions or comments about the advertised budget for our school.
There were any regarding
And we did a presentation on that in the last board meeting.
All right, and the next agenda item is public comment on agenda items. And prior to that, I would like to read the policy on public participation during board meetings. The school board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on corporation matters. Any person or group wishing to place an item on the agenda shall register their intent with the superintendent no later than 7 days prior to the meeting. Such request shall be approved by the superintendent and the board president. To permit fair and orderly public expression, the board may provide a period for public participation at every board meeting and at those public meetings of the board during which action may be taken and published procedures to govern such participation in board meetings. The presiding officer of each board meeting at which public participation is permitted shall administer the procedures of the board's board conduct. The presiding officer shall be guided by the following rules. Public participation shall be permitted as indicated on the order of business before the board takes official action on any issue of substance at the direction of the presiding officer. Attendees must register their intent to participate in the public portion of the meeting upon arrival at the meeting. Participation must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name and affiliation if and when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 2 minutes duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. The presiding officer may prohibit public comment which are frivolous, repetitive, or harassing. Interrupt, warn, or terminate a person's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request an individual to leave the meeting when the person behaves in a manner that is disruptive of the orderly conduct of the meeting. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when the person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. And may call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. And waive these rules when approval of the board when necessary for the protection or privacy of the administration of the board's business. And I see we do have people signed up for public comments, and first person is Susan O'Neill.
Thank you. My name is Susan O'Neill. I'm a resident of Bloomfield. I am an employee of Green County General Hospital, and I'm starting my 34th year of nursing. I have some vital interest in speaking regarding masks to be worn by children while they're at school. I'm a mother, and I have 2 children go to this school, and the school is a vital and important part of our community, and it has to stay open. Contact tracing is going to cause that to not happen if kids don't wear masks. Number 2, my husband's a bus driver, and I don't want him infected. Number 3, my grandson goes to preschool here, and I really feel like it's important for him to be able to be in a safe environment to learn. I don't feel like the masks really interfere with people's freedom. When I was a small child, I had to get the smallpox vaccine to be able to attend school. I asked my mom if there was all this controversy revolving that, and she said, no, there wasn't. We just did what we were told to do. I would like to give you a couple of facts. Green County Hospital is a masked campus. We do contact tracing for those employees that have succumbed to the COVID virus. There have been no employee to employee within the hospital spread of the virus. Contact tracing has proven that employees have got infected outside of the hospital while not wearing masks and being around each other while not wearing masks. We have to do that to keep the doors open there to be able to provide care. That's what's gonna have to happen here if we're gonna keep the doors open. The other thing, I receive emails occasionally from a former pediatrician for my kids, Dr. Deborah McDaniel. She let me know that yesterday there were 16 admissions to Riley Hospital, and 6 of those were in the ICU. These are children. And I would also like to let you know that it is impossible for us to get anybody transferred out of Breese County Hospital or any other hospital to a facility with a higher level of care for kids or anybody, because there are no beds. They're full of COVID patients. Thank you.
And next is Caitlin Harvey.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Harvey. I am a mother of a child that is in the pre-K program here at the school. I'm also a nurse at Green County General Hospital, working on the front line, taking care of COVID patients. I would like to first start by thanking the COVID-19 leadership team here at the school, and also Renee McIntosh for making the decision that they have made today to implement masks for all the staff and students at the school. I would not want Renee's job right now. I think she's doing a fantastic job, and I appreciate everything she is doing. Masks are vital to the health of our students and our children. Most of the children, elementary age through to the middle school, are not able to be vaccinated right now. This pandemic is real. This virus is real. It's not a political or religious thing. The government isn't making this up. It's real. I'm seeing it on the front line this weekend. I worked at the hospital, and I took care of more pediatric patients admitted to the hospital than I have ever in my career as a nurse. And the masks are the only way we're gonna be able to protect our children. If we want to keep them in school, which they need to be, they need the socialization, they need the education, then masks are the only way right now to keep them safe until we can get this pandemic under more control. The flu has been the same way. People have gotten vaccinated. We've got it pretty much under control. This pandemic is not going to be under control until people start getting vaccinated and wear masks. I have made my child wear a mask from start of school. He has no problem with it. I know it's uncomfortable. I wear a mask for 12 hours each day at work, but I do it to keep myself, my coworkers, and my patients safe. These children are innocent. They can't be protected other than wearing a mask, additional cleaning procedures, hand washing, all of that. We need to educate the children of why they're wearing a mask. I explained to my child, there's germs right now. We can't keep you safe. You have to wear this mask to keep you from getting sick. So I want to just appreciate everyone that made the mask mandate today, and hope that we continue to do that until this is under control.
Thank you. John Stillman.
Honorable members of the board, fellow community members, my name is John Steelman, and I have a 7-year-old daughter in the 2nd grade of your system. She has Mrs. McIntosh for a teacher, and she's doing an outstanding job. Mr. Ribbleman, I hope you take good care of her. I have come to ask you to amend your mask mandate to make it to where the parents have the discretion of letting their children wear masks or not. It is ultimately the parents' decision, because it is our responsibility on whether or not they live or die, not yours. I respect your desire to protect my child, keep the evil people out of the building, keep her in the building, keep them from hurting themselves. I'm with you. Tell them what clothes to wear. I'm with you. Tell them to cover their face in an 80-degree room for 10 hours a day. I'm going to argue. And I think a lot of people in here are too. Do masks stop COVID from spreading? I'm going to argue no. We wore them for a year, it's still here. I'm angry. It's ultimately our decision, and I hope that you respect our decision, because if you don't, you're going to find a lot of people choose to take their child out of your care. And I want my child in your care, because you have a good program. I want to see you succeed. I want her to succeed. Whether that happens with or without you is up for debate. Thank you.
Okay, Liz, Silverman?
Hey, Liz Hildebrand, I'm a licensed healthcare professional in the community and a parent of two children that attend Bloomfield. One of my two children is 10 years old, not old enough to get the vaccine. My 14-year-old is fully vaccinated. I appreciate that the school has taken the steps to try to protect my kids and our kids that can't get vaccinated. I want to say thank you to the COVID team, our superintendent, and the school board for taking those steps. My concern when leaving it up to parents is while the health of my child can be partly my decision, it's not fully, because when other people's kids come to school sick, it affects my kid. And so we're not just leaving my kid's health up to me, we're leaving it up to everyone else. And that's not fair to me as a parent, for you, for anyone else, to put my kid at risk. So I just want to say thank you for that mandate, and I appreciate you guys putting the students first.
And Kelly Clark.
Hi, my name is Kelly Carr. I'm a resident here in Greene County. I have two grandkids that attend Bloomfield schools. I think it's a great school. I also have a third grandchild that I've been raising for 8 years, and I've chosen to take him out of North Davis this year because of the mask mandates and the SEL that I'm not in agreement with, the comprehensive sex education and the critical race theory. But back to the mask, I think that there should be more focus on teaching the kids how to build a healthy immune system. Eating healthy, nutrition is a very key part of that. Extra water, exercise, vitamin C and D, and iron. The masks, they don't work. I'm sorry to bust anybody's bubble, but they don't work. It's been proven they don't work. After 10 minutes, they are filthy enough to have enough bacteria on them to cause pneumonia. And it's a 20% decrease of oxygen intake. And I've seen a total change in my granddaughter with what took place last year here with having to wear the mask and be in a pod and be stuck with two kids that she didn't really want to socialize with, but she was stuck with them all day long on a small corner of a assigned part of the playground. And I've seen a change in her mentally and emotionally, and it's got to stop. This is America. This is America. We can't be having these kids, just be told that they can't be free. They can't even breathe oxygen. I mean, this is not right. You're going to see an increased rate of suicides and depression with these kids. I'm seeing depression with her, and it's because of the mask. Thank you.
All right, Jake Grubb.
Hello, folks, Jake Graff. First of all, I want to say, looking at the school board and the administrators here, I consider us all friends, okay? I know almost all of you out of this arena, okay? And a lot of us have had discussions, and I know deep down, y'all don't think the masks work either, okay? I totally agree with this woman here, I don't remember her name, but they do lead to depression. They do lead to issues. These kids need to see smiling faces. They need to be around kids, okay? My kids have had COVID, okay? They tested positive, I tested positive. I know it's real. I'm not debating that it is real. But my daughter, Jacqueline, and if y'all know her, she had open heart surgery last November in the thick of everything. We talked to the surgeon, and he's like, we're not worried about COVID in these little kids. She was getting ready to go to a life and death thing, and he's like, we're not even going to test her for it because we don't worry about it with kids. At the end of the day, it is the parent's decision. If you are worried about your kid, keep them home. Go virtual. I mean, if you want to keep them in a pod in, bubble wrap or however you want to do it, don't bring it out on all the rest of the kids and all the rest of the parents that are willing to take that. But thank you guys for your time.
Okay, Miranda Smith.
Hi, I got 4 girls that go to the school. One in preschool. I've got a 1st grader, a 5th grader, and a 6th grader. And I agree with everybody else. I have seen a huge difference in those girls from this year to last year. It was a crying match every single day to get them to come last year. They did not want to be here. And then this year, they're happy, they're excited to be back here, they love it, they love seeing their friends, and I mean, I agree, it's causing them more harm, and I get it, COVID drill, I worked the ambulance. I was there, I mean, not on the ambulance, but I worked inside the ambulance. I hear what they went through, like, I get that it's real, but it's the parent's decision. It's not, and I get it, like, you're worried about my kid infecting your kid. I understand, but I've also picked up my girls every year for the last 6 years from the school. So last 2 years, or this year, basically, there are more kids coming out of that school without masks than what with masks on. So I'm assuming the majority of the parents are agreeing that masks should not be worn. So I really think that we need to, I don't know, the girls want to be here, I want them to be here, but I do not want to see them crying and fighting them every single day to try to get them to come to school.
Okay, Stacy Thompson?
I'm Stacey Thompson. I have a daughter who just started school here this year. As a freshman, she has been homeschooled up until this point. She is a very social and outgoing kid. She has been super excited, had a great 2 weeks. Today, she sent me a message and said, I'm done. She said, if this is what it's going to be, I don't know if I want to stick around. As a parent, that wasn't, what do you tell her? I'm a nurse too. I work in an ER. I see it. I will not tell you masks don't work because they do in their environment. Their environment is not with kids. It's not. They fall off. They pick them up off the floor. They touch them. They waller them. They transmit everything they touch. It's not helping. I have seen an uptick in COVID patients, yes. I have seen an uptick in pediatric patients. However, I have seen an uptick in RSV cases at my hospital, not COVID cases. And they think that is possibly linked to the fact that kids are being forced to wear masks again, and they're rebreathing all of that stuff. And so it's not necessarily COVID that's causing those kids to be sick. I would like to know how many of those kids who have been quarantined actually have been tested positive for COVID since they have come back to school. Because I got a number today that was pretty low considering we have 150 kids out for quarantine. I understand that the state mandates that. However, if you have 10 or 12 kids who are sick, I think something needs to be looked into. Kids want to be here. The teachers want the kids to be here. I 100% believe that. And I feel like it's very important that they be able to see each other's faces. I think that you need to have a very definite plan of what you're doing because these kids need to know what that is. Not just as parents, but the kids need to know that plan too.
Thank you. And Kathy Lehman?
Hi, it's quite ironic actually that I'm here in support of this plan, and I am not just here because I'm supporting my husband. We're strong enough to have separate thoughts. But up to this point, I've actually been quite anti-mask, and I've been quite a rebel in that. I admit that. I work in pediatrics, and the thing is, I hear the emotional cries on all sides, and I can hear and agree and acknowledge that everybody has different opinions. I still don't like masks. I still have an aversion to them, but I have more of an aversion to constant quarantining for my children, and that actually outranks my hatred of masks right now. And the quarantining is coming from the state level. And so if it's either masks or quarantining, then I choose masks. I come here as a mom of 5, 3 at Bloomfield. Online learning is nothing new for us over the years. Couple days here, a couple days there, and I'm okay with that. And 3 of my kids actually do quite well with it, but 2 struggle with it. And for them, it's been nightmarish at time, and it left me with a firm resolve that my kids need to be in school. And if the only way to do this is to wear masks, then I submit to that. Because here's the thing, like while I'm at home trying to get ready for work and answer calls regarding work, I have these kiddos and I'm bombarded with questions ranging from, Mom, what's a homogeneous composition and how do I deal with these atoms in here, to extemporaneous speaking, to embarrassingly having no clue how to do sixth grade math. I didn't know that there was turtle head math. That's like, my mind was blown. So while, again, I don't like this mask mandate, I believe that my kids need to be in school so that we can let teachers do what they're uniquely crafted to do, and that is teach.
Seeing no other people signed up for comments, we will go on to the consent agenda.
Can I make a comment, or if I could say, can I add to the agenda?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, is it done with the
What do you
meeting?
sign in the year?
I
I
guess
just
we'll give an
want
opportunity to anybody who wants to sign in.
did you say sign up first before I speak?
Yeah,
If you want to come up here and, all right.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I wrote it down because I'm emotional and I won't forget. My name's Amanda Workman. I'm a classmate of Stacy. It's my hometown. I'm a 1994 graduate, parent of a student. I hear the meeting going, like all the accomplishments and everything that's being stated, and I think back to like our memories in school and what we enjoyed, what we loved, and I feel like these kids already for 2 years have lost it, and I feel like it's going again. I feel like our role as adults, as teachers, as parents, is to protect these kids, and I think masking them is failing them in every way. I have 42 studies that I've printed off here supporting that masks do not work. I ask that if we're gonna strip our kids of these rights to be free, I mean, we're talking First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment, US Code 21, Section 360, BBB-3, the right to refuse an emergency use authorization product, US Code 42, Section 1983, that have civil action for deprivation of personal rights. There's so many things that I feel like, and my God, as a Vietnam veteran, the veterans in our community, teachers, I mean, we have all current armed forces, they fight so hard for these rights, for them to just be taken just because of the fear of this pandemic. I know that it's real, people are getting sick from it. I also work as a medical worker. But I ask that the chief medical officer of this county, Dr. Peter Powers, provide some proof of more transmission proof from mask to mask in children that it's been verified, and that the SARS-CoV-2 virus is an active, isolated virus in order to strip these kids of these rights. The flu, strep throat, I mean, we've been children, there are billions of viruses. It's not the first thing that's contagious, and I believe it doesn't deserve this to these kids again. There's no end in sight if we keep going at this rate.
Thank you. Councilman
Dr. Lehman, school board members, fellow community members, thank you for the opportunity to address you on this topic of mask wearing. My name is Calvin Allman, social studies teacher, also president of BTA, Field Teachers Association. I know the subject of wearing masks, getting vaccinated, as well as social distancing have become very hot button issues here over the last year plus. One can, I know, find evidence. I know I've heard also some great evidence on both sides of this issue, and you can find 10 articles of why they work and why they're great, and play 10 why they don't. And I get that, and from, you know, the professionals, all the healthcare professionals out there. However, in relation, you know, being in it every day in our school situation, I truly believe that wearing masks is the best course of action. And it really gets back to You know, do we want to be here, as some of us have alluded to this evening, be here in person learning? You know, I asked one of my classes today, I said, you know, what do you think? And I know this will sound like a kind of a, maybe also, I hate to use the word dumb, but obvious question. You know, do you prefer, does anybody prefer at-home hybrid learning, whatever you want to call it, stay-at-home learning, or being in person? Well, every hand went up for in person, as you can imagine. And I just feel like with 150 or whatever it is now, approximately, as of yesterday, I think it's around 150 quarantine cases, we are not on a sustainable path to be able to keep staying in person. And I think of the athletics. I know we're a big, you know, and I've coached, you know, for 20 plus years, basketball, track, at all levels, boys, girls, everything else. Athletics is a big deal in this community, okay? And I know our 7th and 8th grade, basically the whole volleyball teams, girls volleyball, have been in quarantine. I talked to some high school varsity volleyball girls today. I said, how many matches have you played so far? And there might have been yesterday, I don't know. But anyway, they played 4 at the time. I said, well, how many would you have played, you know, under normal circumstances? They said 8, double. That's a pretty big difference. And they drove to, I think, hope I get this right, Park Heritage, I think tonight, which is about 2 hours away, just trying to find anybody to play because these other teams are in quarantine. That could be us like that, or our team, or any one of our teams. I mean, like it or not, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, the mandates, everything else aside. So, you know, from both an academic and athletic standpoint, it has been, you know, very hard, very, very difficult. And and you know, and I'll say this too, and she said I could bring her up, Stella Royal, another teacher at the school. She kind of pulled some of her classes today too, said, how upset would you guys be, irritated, whatever, if you had to wear a mask every day? Well, obviously they weren't jumping for joy, like, yeah, you'll bring on the mask. But she said, didn't have hardly a single student that got upset about it. Really, like, no, I'm just, you know, that's going to be awful, because they get it when you explain it to, or at least most of them understand that, you know, we have the potential to go to stay-at-home learning, hybrid, all that. Okay, that's, you know, they don't want to do that. They want to be in here in person. So again, I know it's far from ideal, but you know, that's I think most of our students and teachers, if you talk to them, they want to be in here in person, and this is what's going to give us the best opportunity to do that right now. I firmly believe that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. David.
Yeah. So I was just going to kind of but Kyle kind of hit on some of the things. So number one, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here. Number one, you know, we meet every month, right? So you're more than welcome to come. But I certainly understand the nature of this issue. And I appreciate everybody's opinion on it. I do. I mean that. So all I'm going to say is this. I was just going to set on it, and I've mentioned it around, but just thinking you gave us the opportunity, so I thought, well, I'll do it. I just randomly pulled 25, 30 kids Tuesday, Wednesday, because I knew what was coming. At least I felt I knew what was coming. And I said, hey, bottom line, I said, you know what we've got here. You know the number of kids we have quarantined and so forth here, everything. I said, you know, what's your feelings on it? 100% of every kid that I talked to said, if it keeps me from being sent home, I'll wear the mask. And several of those kids, not all of them, but several of those students said, I don't like masks. I don't want to wear it. But if it keeps me from being sent home, then I will wear it. And to me, that's why we're here. And I just wanted to share that information. It was just random who I talked to. Granted, I'm with the older kids, but you know what? They have ideas, they have opinions, and they're our next, you know, they're up next. So, just want to share that.
I know I'm not supposed to talk again, but I had one thing. I just will tell you, this is a fact. We have a pharmacist at Greene County Hospital who was in close contact training a new employee. The pharmacist wore her mask. The new employee wore her mask. The pharmacist went home that night, developed a raging fever, was positive for COVID. The new employee did not contract COVID.
Thank you. Next agenda item is the consent agenda. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the board member summary.
My name is Steve Young, and I can't speak for the entire board, but I did want to make some comments. I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate the civility that you guys came out with and wanting to share your opinions. I understand the emotionalness of it all. Sometimes I like to admit that I kind of get emotional too. But I'll be honest, I kind of feel like a little bit like Kathy, I think, in that I don't really know whether masks are effective or not. I just don't, because there's so much information out there from both sides that I don't know what to trust, and I don't know what to believe. I think there's a little bit of truth on both sides of the argument, but for me personally, I don't think it's really whether it works or not. That's where I'm coming from on looking at this decision. You know, the state of Indiana has set the mandatory close contact quarantine requirements for schools. You know, those aren't our rules. That's the state's rules. And right now, with 150 kids out quarantined, we're approaching about 20% of our student population being quarantined right now. And that's a huge number. That means 20% of our student population isn't receiving the best education that they could, or that the parents should expect for them to receive. I've kind of been on the e-learning virtual side of this already this year with my son getting COVID the first day of school. So I've been able to watch as he was quarantined for 2 weeks, how that went. And the instruction, and this is nothing against the teachers. They do their best with the situation that they have, but the education that they're getting virtually and through e-learning is nothing like what they're getting in the classroom. And I don't want our kids to have to wear masks. I don't want our staff to have to wear masks. I don't like masks, but I don't want our kids to, be quarantined for 2 weeks at a time either. I don't want our kids to have to do e-learning or virtual learning for weeks at a time. And I don't want to get to the point where we have so many positives or close contact quarantines that we have to go to virtual learning full time. That's what I do not want to happen. So as much as I hate masks, I hate our kids not getting the best in-class education that they can get even more. One thing I know that the administration has said, and you can ask anybody here, I've asked more questions than they wanted to deal with, but they've promised that this is something that they're going to try to do on a temporary basis. They've promised to review it regularly to see if we reach a level where we can lighten the mask requirements back to optional. And my hope is that we can get this under control and get back to mask optional as soon as possible. That's what I'm hoping. Thanks.
Any other board members?
Hi, my name is Lana Penny. I'm also a bus driver here. Just let you know this week, pulled up Mr. Dean out here on the sidewalk. Only got one today. I unloaded one on this side. I pulled around to the other side, unloaded 3. They're in quarantine. They're not in school. And I walk the hallways here. I work with life skills kids. They will tell you, they want to be here. I had a daughter graduate here last year, all college classes. She'll tell you, it was hard being at home with college classes. These kids need to be in this building. Do I like wearing one? I wear it when I get up in the morning on the bus, and I wear it all day long. No, I don't like it. But if it protects my kids, my health, my family, yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm around the kids all day long. I'm sneezed on, I'm coughed on. I ain't gonna tell you some of the stuff I touch. But yeah, I'm here, and I know these kids need this. But I hate coming to school with my bus empty. I love my job. But I just think this is the step we need to take to keep these doors open and keep these kids in this classroom. They get meals every day. They get a hi every morning on the bus and have a good evening. That says a lot right there. And that's what makes me proud of this school. So bear with us. The kids adjust well. I'm in the hallways with them. They're still smiling. I can see it in their eyes. It's not that bad for them. Some of the kids have an hour bus ride on a bus. Don't have any problems with them. I don't have to say, get your mask on. They wear them. got good, responsible kids. They step up to the plate.
Any other board members? Okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda then.
Okay, on the consent agenda, we have our meeting minutes from the last board meeting in July. We have our treasurer's report with our appropriation bank statement, fund report, and claims for approval. We also have a long list of personnel. I won't read all those, but as we're starting the year, a lot of ECA positions and aides that we could have hired before the last board meeting for approval on those. And then we also have our donations. We do like to read those donations and thank the community members who have donated. But there is a long list, so bear with me, I'm going to read those donations. So to FFA in memory of Paul Helms, thank you to these people who gave in honor of that: Greene County Farm Bureau, Daryl and Bonnie Holtzfall, Jim and Leona Hobson, Gary and Jan Hesselman, Doug Long, Brian and Diane Wilson, Roger and Jane Helms, Corwin family, Jim Corwin, Bob and Rhonda Carmichael, Ben and Cheryl Helms, Eugene and Marilyn Helms, Nancy Hudson, David and Louise Fuller, Ryan and Carla Priest. Thank you for your donations. And in memory of Rick Hudson, Benny Helms, Flower and Gift, Donna Liz Luce, Church of Christ. Memory of Bob Ewan, Connie Lasser. Donation to yearbook, Farmers and Mechanics. In memory of Mike Brandstetter, Don and Liz Luce. And that is the list.
And then it's consent agenda, and do we have any questions or comments? The board? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'm going to approve.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? All right, thank you. Other business?
Okay, the facility rental policy and form, we had. Oh, that's fine. Good. Sorry, I skipped 5A. Pardon me. So we have Neola board policies that are updated to the Indiana School Board Association. Neola is the organization that updates those, group of attorneys that give the recommendations for us to have appropriate policies to run our school. And I work with the representative of that to update those. And it is about 200 pages of updates that we've given to the board, they've looked at. So entertaining any questions, it's the first reading. And then if there's, we can have discussion, and then we'll push those up for approval at the next board meeting.
Questions or comments on the Neola board policies? All right, seeing none. All right, next agenda item.
All right, be here facility rental policy. We've had some requests here and there of renting our facilities, and our policy was outdated. That is a topic that we can talk about in executive session. We have a group of a team of maintenance director Matt Bales and our cafeteria director Rick Hassler and other people, J.B. Neal, that be involved in renting our facility. We have updated that policy and made some edits even today. And so that's up because it's a policy. That's also need the first reading and then approval, the second reading, which will be at the next board meeting. So any questions or comments on the facility rental policy that was in your board packet?
All right, seeing none. Next agenda item.
All right, approval of surplus items. As we talked about, we had a renovation of the elementary, and basically we, in the middle school rooms, got new furniture. So we have all that old furniture. We also, in the junior senior high school, got new Sonics to replace the old smart boards, and those are in process of being put up, and the old smart boards will be surplus. And so we have a list of many chairs and desks, teacher's desks, student desks, small chairs, big chairs, smart boards, that we're gonna declare as surplus. And by Indiana code, we have to advertise, give a public notice of the sale of those items and give 15 days. So we will put that in the paper and put it on our website, the items and what we are, the asking price for those items. And after 15 days, which I believe is September 10th, those items can be purchased here at Bloomfield and on the south side there. And we'll have those details that you can pick them up between 8:30 and 2. And just arrange picking those up and purchasing those with Matt Bales or maintenance director. That information will be a public notice for 15 days before we can start the sale of that. So approval, ask for approval of those surplus items.
Next, we have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll move that we.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Yeah, real quick, obviously some of these things like smart boards and stuff like that, local people don't necessarily want those, but is there a way that we reach out to other schools, maybe not necessarily just in our area, but like other areas to put that information out? Because I could see, I mean, you were talking about 200 small student desks. Is there some sort of avenue for trying to promote those?
Yeah, I'll put that with the Southern Indiana Educational Center, and that goes out to all the Southern Indiana schools, and we can tell them what's available and that, and put it on Facebook.
So they'll just have the same option to purchase.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. And the next agenda item?
Okay, approval of amended bus driver contract. We want to give our condolences to Robin Stater. We had Sunday, the first week of school, David Stater passed away. He was one of our bus drivers, and one of our bus drivers, Brad O'Neill, stepped up and proposed to take his route for an agreed amount of additional $80 per day. And we have done an addendum to his contract for that verbal proposal that asking for acceptance.
Okay, make the recommendation, do I have a motion?
Move it through.
Okay, and do I have a second? Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I can't vote.
Yeah, and she can vote on this, can't she? Okay, we'll vote to people now. Okay, is there any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. And the last under other business?
Yeah, request to approve the updated Bloomfield School District reentry plan. This is something that the state has given jurisdiction to make adjustments during the pandemic. And you guys have given me, our policy gives me the authority to make those decisions. We did not feel it was clearly stated on the reopening plan that can do, although policy would trump that. We want to have it clearly on a reopening plan, because that's what we feel is best to practice in the current situation. When we originally wrote this plan, we were really hoping that we wouldn't be in this situation. And so adding under mask, where it said we'll follow the executive order, mask optional, that this can change according to the local COVID cases and quarantines all through this pandemic. That has been the biggest factor in deciding whether we tighten up or loosen up. And so I want to add that language in here, that it can change according to local cases and quarantines, and also at the bottom, that we would, all points are subject to change due to changes in national, state, or local emergency health mandates and/or changes in the number of local COVID cases and/or quarantines, which is part of the main reason the quarantines and our uptick of cases that we are going to mask for this time frame. We will continue to meet on Wednesdays and analyze the situation and try to make the best decision each week for our school and our students.
Okay, we have a recommendation, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve.
Okay, and do I have a second? Okay, and do we have any questions or comments?
make one more comment? It's too late for that. So, I didn't say anything before because I also hate wearing a mask. I do wear one all day long. My kids were out of school Monday, Tuesday of this week, and I couldn't work. I can't be a teacher and home with my students and be a veterinarian, or be home with my children and be a veterinarian at the same day, all day, every day. I had at least 6 animals that belong to families in this room in my office today alone. And that's just of the people that are in this room right now. If I can't work, your animals don't get the care that they need, and I know that's not as important as my child's health, and my child's education, but I want my child in school. My child needs to be in school. I can't be a teacher and a mother and a veterinarian all at the same time. And as much as I hate the mask, I also choose that if that's what's going to keep him in school, then I just feel very strongly that that's important right now, because there are a lot of parents that are in the same boat. My husband and I are both very busy, and we both have our essential workers, and it's just impossible for us to be home with our children and have our children at home. And that was evident this week.
Can I say one more thing too, then? I feel like it's really important if we're gonna make an extra comment. I really, want to reiterate that there's a lot of people who are gonna have to disenroll their children from the school, and it's a huge deal for us. So like, I realize what y'all are saying, but it's also a really big deal to the rest of us to have these freedoms, and you should at least give the kids the option to quarantine and not wear a mask. I ask that you revisit that at least. You should let the kids choose not to wear a mask, and if they want to quarantine, let them. They shouldn't have to be in the school with a mask on.
Any other questions or comments from the board members? Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. The next agenda item is the superintendent's report.
Yeah, Mike and Dave shared some of the things that I have on here. School started off great. Rooms are looking sharp. We're just talking about a construction project. It's going to be ongoing through next summer. Hopefully it can get all done next summer and we can have a start with the updated school in this area. Continue to watch those COVID numbers closely, and we'll meet weekly on that. The cross-country course is something that's exciting that got completed, and we had our first cross-country meet last Saturday there, and it just absolutely beautiful. Worked out great. The meet was well run. It is a very tough course. It's a 1 lap, 5 kilometer. Yours truly went and ran that afterwards with Terry Wade, if you can call it that. Got to about that first mile, the hill, steep hill, right before the end of the first mile, and I was about done. It was hot too. I'm getting old, but it was tough. I had to kind of walk/run the last mile and a half because my heart was just beating out of my chest. But it is a good course, it's a beautiful course. It's going to keep getting better, so we're excited. Thank you to Matt Bales and Riley Carroll and the cross-country program for all their work they did to get that ready. Fall sports is going strong, and I just be echoing a lot of what Mike and Dave said, so I will stop there and appreciate everybody's comments tonight and being here. And I know how much you care. I know how inconvenient these things are, but it's really a decision. We think it's best to keep most kids in school in person at this point. And we'll continue to analyze the situation. And I hope, we can agree to disagree. I have to do that all the time. And it's just part of working together and being a team, being a family. Thank you.
All right. And is there any board member comments and items for future agendas? Seeing none, our next regular scheduled board meeting is September the 30th, and after that it'll be October the 28th. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.